Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and today we're going to throw it back to the age of disco and 70s and wide-ass tires. All right, welcome to another episode, and this week I wanted to do something that kind of resembled the look that was not very popular, but semi-popular in the 70s, and that was taking a car that was at the time fairly new and then just what I like to call day two stuff. And a lot of times what would happen, and more often than not actually, would be the cars would get jacked up in order to fit a really wide tire. So because of the way the rear wheel wells were, they would essentially just use air shocks or whatever to jack the shit out of a car to be able to fit the tires. So I'm kind of doing that. So step one obviously is to drill out the same old crap that you always do. This was a little bit difficult. I really hate plastic bases, but got to work with what you have. So with this, I was able to drill it out and get a good idea of what I had and what I wanted. So obviously, the plastic base, it is what it is, but I had a set of tires from an M2 kit that I really wanted to put on here. They were wide and skinnies, wide in the back, skinny in the front. You can see it comes with a white interior and tinted windows, which I really like. I like the tinted windows anyway. So here's the tire. It's a Goodyear tire. I put it on one axle so I could kind of get an idea, and there's the skinny on the back, on the front. So ultimately, it all comes down to fitting. And in order for the tires to fit in the rear, it has to be jacked up above the height of the tire. And there's a couple different ways to do it. I opted to I just lowered the wheels on the axles themselves. So right here, I'm using a pin vise to kind of open up the hole where the plastic tabs held the axles, which you can bend back with a screwdriver, which I really took great care to do. And then I ended up just cutting them off anyways, because the M2 axles are a lot wider in diameter than the stock Hot Wheels ones. So it really wouldn't fit very good. So you can see right here is my first attempt. The rear tires just don't fit underneath. It binds. So the front tires were pretty close. They sat up a little higher than I wanted, and that was strictly because of the diameter of the axle. So the idea is to drop both of them down, with the rear being dropped down a little bit more. This is really just a trial and error process. So I used the cutoff wheel to do two things. A, cut it down further so that the tire sits lower, or the whole axle sits lower. But at the same time, because of the width and the diameter of the axles, you have to widen it a little bit. So it was kind of doing two things at once. I don't think I show it, but I must have did this 10 times. Just a little bit at a time. Because with the plastic, unlike the metal, you can cut right through. And I can tell you, there was a couple spots on each side of the differential that's molded into the plastic. I'm pretty close. I mean, it's paper thin in those two edges on the outside. The metal's solid, so it's not like it's going anywhere. But it was a tight fit. I think I just got tired of videoing the failures of continuing to do it. So you can see I dug it deeper, and the tire is still not really where I wanted it. So after I got it where I wanted it, I'm using the gel now for citrus strip. The aerosol for me just wasn't working well, and it was just a lot of waste. So pretty much just dipped the car in. I used a shitty Tester's paintbrush to get it all on there. This paint didn't come off all that easy. I let it sit for maybe a half an hour while I did some other things. And I ended up doing it twice because I didn't quite get everything off. And some of the stuff it was just very difficult to get off for some reason. So I still swear by the citrus strip, but this time it took twice. Once it's stripped and washed, get a good look at it. I'll take my wire wheel attachment. I have two for my Dremel. I have a wide one and then just a very narrow brush to get all the residue off and whatever's left that the stripper didn't get off. And at the same time, it's doing a little bit of polish. The bristles are very soft. It doesn't do, I mean, you can put it on your hand. It doesn't do anything. I suppose I could use brass, but I've never had a problem with these aside from the little bristles flying off, so make sure you wear eye protection. I don't want you to lose an eye because of me, so at least I give you my disclaimer. The wide brush is really good because it gets inside. As you can see, it's the actual, pretty much the width of most Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, so it allows me to get in there and get all the extra residue off that I don't want flying off when it's in the process of being painted. And it just looks better anyways. And my OCD usually kicks in, so I try to get it as clean as I possibly can. You're not going to get everything, excuse me, but you're going to get most of it. And you can see the smaller one off to the side there on the right. And that's what I'll use to get inside the really fine body lines that I might not be able to get with the bigger one. And obviously I go through, if I need to, I'll use a dental pick to get any paint off. But as you can see here, I'll just go in and, like the roof line where the molding is, that was had a couple spots there. Rear tail lights, that whole assembly area was kind of a pain in the ass to get all the paint out. And this brush actually worked good. Here you can see me getting the doors. So once again, I fit it, and this is the look I'm going for. The tires stick out just enough. Once I'm happy, I'll wipe it all down with mineral spirits and pretty much prep for paint. And this process really took me twice because I didn't end up the way I wanted. I'm using a Tamiya white thin primer, which works good, and I'm also using a clear coat for the other parts. So I clear coat the base and the interior, and that allows me to paint it black. I went with a flat black. I masked off the front and the rear bumper and headlight, tail light assemblies, and the flat black, the clear coat also knocks down the chrome so it's not so shiny and plasticky looking. Just something I do. I know I can strip the chrome. I'm just lazy. So just kind of, that's the stuff I used. I wanted this, I was going for a certain look, and I wanted a flat black hood. So after I primed it white, I decided to flat black the hood. And then I figured, okay, well, I'll just mask off the hood and then paint the green that I'm looking to paint. Well, I painted the Tamiya white over the body itself, so the bare metal. Excuse me. And then I kind of masked off the hood to do that. So when I applied the flat black or the black primer to the hood, it was on bare metal. And unfortunately, when I went to mask it off, I had some issues. So here I'm getting ready to prep. I've already wet sanded the white, and my goal is here I'm going to paint it green. I'm going to have a nice black hood. Everybody's going to be happy, and it didn't work that way because the minute I applied any kind of masking tape to the black, it came right off. I mean, literally, I had it on for seconds and it came off. And kind of a little irritating, so I was trying to sand the rest of the black off. I ended up screwing up the white, so I had to strip it once again, then reprime it white, and I ended up priming the entire thing white and kind of gave up on the black. I probably shouldn't quit, but it is what it is. I'm using the Redline Shop lime green that I used for my heavy Chevy. The color is a perfect match for what I wanted with the Mopar lime green, and I had that in mind. So here's one coat. Now I did actually, one coat, two coats. Then my third coat I laid on really, really heavy, and look how good that came out. I didn't even need clear coat. This is so shiny, and I was a little hesitant to put it on heavy because it runs. It didn't run at all. This is the second time using the Redline Shop paint, and I'm still amazed at how great it is in comparison to any other paint I've used so far. I can't wait to get more of this and more colors. So I definitely swear by the Red Line Shop stuff, and no, I don't get paid. So here I am doing some final detail work. I picked up some Sharpies to mix with my paint pens, so I have a full arsenal. Half my problem is I can't see, so I kind of start off on the helping hands, and then I pretty much got to bring it almost up to my face because I can't see anything up close, even with reading glasses. So I started off with the Sharpie, but it didn't really have the look I was looking for. So I end up switching to the paint pen, and I find it easier on really small details to dip a little bit and then use a toothpick to get the fine details. I did use the chrome Sharpie on the door handles, which you'll see in a second, and that worked awesome. It's just trying to get in where those taillights were with the molding around them. It was just very difficult, and it was just too fat of a tip, even though I got the fine tip. So I'm doing the door handles now, and next will be final assembly, even though I've assembled it like 100 times. So actually right now I'm Googling what color the side marker lights are, what combination orange and red, and what was which. So I'm doing that. The passenger side, believe it or not, the marker light was missing on the rear completely. It wasn't even in the casting. So I kind of just made it up as I went. I put it where it should roughly be in approximation with the other side. It's just weird. It's just an error in the casting. So now it's just a matter of putting it together and doing the final reveal. So if you guys found this even semi-interesting, please hit subscribe, like, share, comment, please. I know I'm skipping a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to make these quick. But if there's stuff you want to see, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it. I'm learning as I go, and hopefully, we'll get better together. So thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.